Angry guy here, and women are angry passport bros are leaving Western society. Women are angry passport bros are leaving Western society. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
What's going on?
For all the men out there that go on those male group trips to the Dominican Republic, I'm gonna just let y'all know right now. I know exactly what goes on in those trips. I have male friends and they tell me everything. I know exactly what goes on them trips.
Yeah. So what?
What do we care? Guys are not even trying to hide it. It's all over the internet, actually.
Facts.
Right? I've never done that. I've never went on trips like that. I did it for love. You have a lot of guys that do that too. But guys aren't saying, oh, because women been going on trips to Jamaica for years. They've been going to Africa for years. They've been going to all these different places, all these different excursions, having these girls' trips, and guys weren't allowing it. Now, when a girl goes on a girls' trip, the guys are breaking up and they're trying to leave right away. Because guys are not dumb. Guys have woken up. So, yeah, we don't care. We can care less if you know what's going on. It's a lot different than when guys are back home. And if guys are looking to go even get some, the difference is night and day. I'm not okaying it, but who cares what you know?
Emotional, damn it.
Y'all got y'all teacups? Me, I'm munching on popcorn. But this is what's going down. This passport bro has gone viral after he posted a video on social media begging for his subscribers, his supporters to cash app him money because he's technically stranded in the Dominican.
Yeah, and this right here, you know, it's funny. I can't even bash her for putting it down. You know, this is what it is, right? Woman is sitting around pondering and waiting.
We're waiting
for guys to fail. They are. That's like if something happened to me tomorrow, it'll be front page news all over TikTok. It'll be everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, right? Because people are waiting for that. Not even just women, guys too. So, but this right here, straight up Pookie syndrome, right? Who would go to another country and say, I've never spoken on this, by the way, but who would go to another country on borrowed money, right? And that's what he's doing. He went over there and made a live, say, hey guys, can I get some money? And it's like, no, people are not hearing that. People are not trying to help you. People are not trying to give a grown man money. You know, when you leave, when your back is against the wall, you got to fight your way out. And that's just what it is. So make sure you're prepared. And make sure you do whatever it takes to make it happen, because you're gonna need to. If you're living out of the country, or even you're going to travel, right? Don't go travel with no less than $2,000-$3,000. And he's over in DR, right? It's easy to get home. He went out there, spent all his money on women, and then had a hard time getting home. That's just one thing we can't do, fellas. Let's do better.
And women be like, I ain't his maid. I don't want to serve. Okay. Well, if he got everything, what do you think he need from you aside from?
Damn!
And it's everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why men don't mind buying. Men don't mind buying. They don't mind buying it. And the reason why most men don't mind buying is because it comes with less of a headache when you pay for it. And the better when you pay for it. If you're paying for the and it don't come with all of the extras. So put yourself in a predicament where he'd be like, I will buy this. I will pay for this service. He'll start compensating you for your services. Pay. Listen, when you're dealing with somebody that they got an agreement, you don't gotta keep telling her. And both of them already know what type of time it is. And then men like to pay for. A lot of them really do. They say that they don't, but they do. Especially when they pay for single mother, because it's like a charitable contribution.
Yeah, girl.
You get to see what she did with the money. You get to see the children on the internet. They hair be cutting, new shoes.
She was going in. It was a little funny, but she made a good point though, right? No headaches. And it goes hand in hand with what the girl just said. Oh, I see you guys going out there. I'm not bashing it. I don't.
You know, it's so crazy. So, I mean, this was me. That was literally me. And there's some of you listening right now, and that was like literally you. You know, you were out there and you were paying, and you know, you're paying for it. And here's something that's true. You meet a girl, and you guys go back to your place or her place or whatever, and things like she's not worried about things like hygiene. She's not trying to put on her best face. She's not trying to make it, you know, make it special for you. She's not trying to even look her best for you. But when you go and you're paying, it's different. You know, she's gonna try to look her best for you. She's gonna try to make sure that she's clean. She's gonna take time. She's gonna listen to you. She's gonna listen to the things you're talking about. Sometimes you might even go there and you don't even do anything, all right? You're just talking for like an hour or two, just talking and making conversation. And then you feel like you're really making a difference in this person's life because, you know, this money, they're going to take that and they're going to use it to help themselves, they're going to use that to pay their bills. They're going to use that to buy food. They're going to use that to take care of the children, especially when you help a single mother. You're like, you see, you know, you go on, exactly. You go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, you see the kids they're rocking some new shoes. You know, little Jimmy finally got those braces. You feel good about that. Like, you think like I helped make that possible. You know, you see little Tommy, you know, holding his PS5. I'm like, good for you, man. Good for you, my man. Good for you, little man. All right, good for you. All right. I mean, seriously. But you know, versus you're going out on these expensive dates. Then you get into a relationship, and then it's even more expensive because you're spending ridiculous amounts of money on literally nothing. Okay, like they're literally taking it and putting it on nothing, and it's like, you know what? I'm better off just going and paying. I'm better off just going and buying because, you know, and guys, just, you know, the old saying is that you're not actually paying for it. You don't pay them for it, you pay them to leave. And that's the saying that used to go. And you know, these women, they're angry passport bros are leaving Western society because they realize now that the passport bros, they don't have to put up with this. Men are realizing they don't have to put up with nonsense. They don't have to put up with games. There's a great big world out there. I was talking to a guy over on YouTube, you know, one of my subscribers, and he said to me, he says, he commented, I make over $100,000 a year, and they don't even consider me a Plan B guy. I mean, I want y'all to think about how crazy things are now. If you make over $100,000 a year, you are not considered a Plan B guy by most women. That's not enough money. I mean, think about it. After taxes and rent and everything else, that's not enough money. I'm just being very honest with you. For them, that's not enough. You're not gonna. Can you let them go to the spa anytime they want to go to the spa? Can you let her pick up a purse that costs you from $1,000 to $5,000 anytime she wants a new purse? Can you give her a day at the mall where she can spend $10, $20, even $30,000? No, you can't. So then you can't hold her down. Can you put her in a new whip? And I'm not talking about a Jeep. Can you put her in a new whip that costs $100,000 or even $200,000? Because that should not be a problem. I'm just being straight with y'all. Modern day women, they want to live like queens without the responsibilities and the accountability that comes with being a queen. Okay? They want the power, they want the privilege, and that's it. And they want to live easy lives. They don't want to have to work for it. They don't want to be bothered. They want it all handed to them. And that's it, so they can go and relax. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying my content, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and never miss another video again, and like the video because it tells YouTube that you're enjoying my content and you want to see more of it, so they'll show you more of it. I mean, guys, it shouldn't surprise any of you what's happening right now. You're adults, and we knew this was coming for a long time. I said this before. You know, everything every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This is something that applies not just in material science, but also in social science. Okay? This is not just something that you're going to see within physics. You're going to see this in the real world. Okay? The pendulum swung far, far, far left. All right? And now it's going to start swinging right. But think about this very carefully. You have to understand momentum. It didn't go far left over the course of 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. This is something that's been fostering. This is something that has had a major impact for the last 50 years, and that's been fostering for well over 100 years. I want y'all to consider these things. When you look at some of the things that were written 100 years ago, guys are writing about some of the problems that they had in society 100 years ago that we have today. This tells you that these problems existed back then, even if they were not on the scale they are on today. They existed back then. And guys were frustrated back then, and yet they lived. That was the time when we say they had it the best. And they were still struggling back then. They still had their own hardships back then. So guys, this started over 100 years ago. All right? I've already said that at best, it's going to take like 75 years. All right? Because that's good. That's the time necessary for a couple of generations to be born and to then grow up grow up seeing the consequences of empowerment and all that other stuff, and living with those consequences, and being forced to change and develop and think differently. But to be very honest with you, that's a maybe. That's a big maybe. The truth is, this may never be resolved. Things may never improve and go back to anywhere close to the way they were once, during our grandparents or our great-grandparents' lives. It very well may never go back to that. I want you to think about that very carefully. All right? A return to traditionalism is likely not possible. It's likely not possible. Why would think about this. Guys, we're heading for the Jetsons right now. Unless there's some huge catastrophe and slowdown of tech, guys, we're heading for the Jetsons right now. All right? We really are. Maybe not in some ways, or maybe in those ways as well. Because it feels like when tech really manifests, it happens overnight. Like if you look at ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, it literally happened overnight. We were given this tech literally overnight, and it's transforming the world overnight. All right? When new modes of transportation eventually do emerge, it can happen almost overnight. It can. And once they've been implemented, it will change the entire world. If you think about it, for example, there's a trade system that Elon Musk wanted to make a reality. It basically runs underground, and this thing can travel, I believe, like I don't remember if it's like 700 miles, somewhere between 500 and 700 miles an hour. Basically around the same speed or even faster than your typical commercial airplane. And with a network of these devices, of these trains, I want you all to think about how that would transform even the United States. If you have a strong network of them, you can literally travel from one end of California to another end of California. But it's much deeper than that. All right? You have a train like if this thing can go 500 miles an hour, if it can go the speed, think about this, the speed of a typical commercial airline. All right? You can travel, you can get on one of these things, all right? And you can pay less that it would less than it would cost to go from California to New York, and you can go from California to New York within a number of hours. Think about that. There's a lot of tech coming, and the world is transforming around us. And as the world transforms around us, it's only going to move forward, and the consequences are going to be there. Just like, I said, the legacy would, the name would go away. The name would be gone, but the legacy would live on, and that's what's going to happen. And the consequences are also going to remain. They're not going to go backwards. Why would men who know these things go backwards? The internet is forever. All these things that are on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going anywhere. Okay? They're not going anywhere. And attitudes aren't changing overnight. This is the truth. Men and boys are permanently in this state right now. Women are angry password bros are leaving Western society, and it's understandable because their plan B, plan C, and plan D, their safety net is now eroding. It's now going away. And I saw a woman that said in the comment, people will survive just as you. They'll find a way to survive just as always. But this has never happened before. Women have never had a time where they have not had men to support them and provide for them and be there for them during even the worst times. They've never had a time, lived in a period where they don't have community to fall back upon. Women do not have community. The community is gone. There is no community anymore. The neighbors, everybody's about everyone else. So women do not have community to fall back upon. All right? The church is basically an unholy alliance that's just there to extract wealth and resources from men. But it's not providing, but beyond that, women cannot turn to the church. Church is not going to give them anything. Okay? And when it comes to public assistance, it's 800. If you are fortunate enough to qualify, you may be able to get disability. You get an $800 check a month. Okay? And while there are women's shelters, there's not enough shelters for everyone. There really isn't. Okay? When you have large droves of women that need housing, there's not enough shelters for everyone. An $800 check a month, if you're able to get disability, that's not going to hold you down. These programs that provide cash, that's like $200, $250 a month, most of them. Cash assistance, $200, $250 a month. What are you going to do with that? Food stamps, less than $300 a month. What are you going to do with that? Especially if you're homeless. Buy chips and junk food and then it's gone and you wait till the next month. And then while you're waiting, you're going to have to go you're going to have to hope that people come around and feed the homeless. And let's say women who don't end up homeless. Let's say, because I'm seeing a lot more women doing things like Uber Eats and Instacart and stuff like that. Let's say the women that find a way to just barely get by. A lot of them are going to be experiencing something that they've never experienced before, which is loneliness. Extraordinary, extreme loneliness. Okay? And the only kinds of men that they're going to be able to attract, that are going to be there, that are going to come to them, not going to be the guys that can help them. It's not going to be plan B, plan C, plan D guys. No. Okay? It's going to be Chad, Tyrone, Ray, Pookie. And those guys are not coming to help. Those guys are coming. You know what those guys are coming for. They're just coming to get for one thing, and then they're going to be out. And then here's the thing. A lot of them, like, if you can't even hold down your own business, if these women can't even hold things down, they're gonna go. They're gonna go. These guys are in high demand, so they're gonna go for the best deal. So they may not. So these, you have to remember, these guys aren't. That's not your boyfriend. You know, Tyrone has tons of options. Ray Ray has tons of options. Pookie has tons of options. Chad and Brad, all right, they see multiple girls in the same day. They have vast options. So those are not, those guys are not your boyfriend. So women are going to experience, you know, it's going to be extraordinary amounts of loneliness. And the thing about that is that, you know, when it comes to the SIMPs, when it comes to these guys, sure, these women, you know, women will still, they'll be on social media because that's the only way that they're going to feel connected to the world. And they're going to see all these guys in their DMs still, because there's always going to be, these guys are always going to be around, even if they're not. But the thing is, they're going to discover that these guys, it's like there's no conversion. They can talk with them, and these guys, they can talk with them, and these guys are like trying to engage with them and tell them how great they are. But these guys are not actually converting to relationships. These are not men that are actually going to be able to really help them. And as more and more men are watching this content, a lot of those guys are not brave. A lot of those guys, they're behind the safety of the internet. And that's something that a lot of y'all don't understand. Just because some guys are hitting them up in their DMs doesn't mean that these guys are going to go out on dates with them. Because most of these guys would never approach them in public and speak to them, even before everything happened, even before the last 20 years, right, of anarchy. These guys will not approach a woman. Men approaching women back in the 90s and even in the early 2000s, that was rare then. Even in the 1980s. Guys, it's a rare thing. It's always been a rare thing. There's never been a normal time I don't know, in modern society in the last 100 or even 200 years where a guy normally sees a woman and approaches her and starts speaking to her. You have to be brave. All right? It's a rare thing. It's a very rare thing because most women are never approached by men. The only reason why women now say that, oh, they're constantly being bombarded, they're not being bombarded with guys in society when they're out and about and living their lives. No. It's on their social media. It's on their Instagram. And their brains are registering that as validation, and their brains are telling them that it's the same thing as men engaging them in society, but it's not. Women are angry password bros are leaving Western society. Guys, what do you think about this? I want to know your thoughts on this. You know everything we spoke about, but I want to know how you feel about this, guys. Hey, I'm going to be live streaming on Kick.com in the future. Link in the description. Follow me there. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, I want to hear your opinions upon all of this. Okay, like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. And walking away. And cheers.